Hi everyone, BritSimon here. So, have you done your DV2026 entry yet? If you haven't, and you'd like to know exactly how to do it, what I've done is I've gone ahead and created an entry and recorded the process so that you can follow along, and I've answered some of the critical questions in that process, recorded that for you, and I'm about to show you that here now, okay? So, give me 20 minutes to go through this process, and hopefully that will stop you from making any errors. Good luck, everybody. I hope you do well in the lottery.
Okay, let's begin this entry. First of all, when you come to dvprogram.state.gov, you can see that you've got the link for the instructions, and you could open the instructions and read them. Please do. It's worth it. It's worth taking a few moments to do that. You can also have a look at the photo instructions and examples, and I've created some videos about that to help you understand how you should create your photo. Okay, but assuming that you have read the instructions and that you have got your photos ready, you are ready to start your entry. So let's go through that process now. You click begin entry and you have to solve this CAPTCHA. Okay, so XDH 4DK. Okay, now if you can't read this CAPTCHA, you can always change it by clicking there. In fact, let me do that just to show you. Well, that's a little easier. It's a little easier to solve that one, right? So 664. Okay, so that looks good. Submit that, and if I got it right, it'll be in the next area, right? Okay, so I'm going to add some information for myself to do an actual entry. Let's see. Now I already have a green card, so I don't need to have a sorry, I've already got a citizenship, rather, I should say, but I don't need a green card. But nevertheless, I can enter this lottery. It's no harm at all in entering the lottery, right? So in here, I'm going to put my family name. Now, family name is the name that typically in Western countries, there's a shared name amongst the family. Each of the family members would have their first name and perhaps a middle name, but they share a family name, and it's sometimes called the last name in America. It's also called, in Europe, it tends to be referred to as surname. Now, for those countries that have sort of strange combinations of names, such as you only have one name, one typically longer name, or you have names with, grandfather's name and your father's name and your great-grandfather's name and so on, you're going to need to be a little bit sensible about this and figure out how you can enter the name for your particular scenario. And I have created a video about that before, so by all means go and read that, go and watch that video. All right, so for most of you though, you're going to have a family name, your first name, and you can put in here middle name, or you can say I've got no middle name, right? So very simple. Choose your gender. They're only offering 2 genders, so you have to choose one of those. Choose your gender. Then put your birth date, okay? So I'm going to put, let's see, July, let's do July 18th, 1964. Let's make me 60 years old, right? That makes me 60, yeah. So nice old guy entering the lottery. Okay, then you have to choose your district, country, province, state, your birth city, right? So I'm going to say here London, right? You could say birth city unknown, but typically you're just going to put the city. Now, if you live within an area such as London, in London there are many sort of local little towns that are parts of London. So Wimbledon, for example, is a part of London. Southgate is a part of London. Chelsea is a part of London. For me, I think it's better to pick the city name, but it doesn't matter. You won't be penalised if you pick, for example, one of the areas such as Chelsea or Wimbledon that's not going to be a problem to your entry. The main thing they're trying to figure out is where you were born from a country perspective. And so they're asking your city, just in case boundaries of countries has changed over the years. So just give the city name, or or the closest thing to that in your particular country, in your situation. Okay, select a country where you were born. I'm going to say Great Britain. Let's see if that's there. Great Britain, or maybe England, I don't know. Let's see, Great Britain, no. Let's see if it says England. Nope, probably United Kingdom then. Yeah, United Kingdom. Okay, so I was born in the United Kingdom. Now for question 5, everybody answers that the same way. You always answer that with your country of birth. There is absolutely no other answer for that. But the next question confuses people. As I've explained before, 99.9% of you are going to be choosing your birth country, and here you say, yes, that is the country of eligibility for the DV program. But there are 2 exceptions to this where you may use an exception, and you might click no in question number 6. The first exception is typically only used where your country of birth is ineligible. If your country of birth is ineligible, you may have been born there because your parents were temporarily in that country and neither one of them was from that country or born in that country themselves, right? So let's say you were born in Nigeria, but you actually, your mum is from France and your dad is from Germany. Neither of those countries are Nigeria. Your parents, though, just happened to be in Nigeria at the time of your birth. Perhaps they were stationed there for work reasons, let's say, and you can prove that. Okay, that's the important bit. You can prove that they were only there temporarily. So in that case, you could choose. You could use the exception. There's another exception which is based on the birthplace of your spouse. If you're legally married already to somebody who is born in another country and that country is eligible, and your country is either not eligible or is eligible, it doesn't matter, you can charge to your spouse's country. Now, why would you do that? Well, if your own country of birth is ineligible, then it's a good way of getting around that. You can do that. But if your own country is in one of the large regions, such as Europe, Africa, Asia, and so on, you may be married to someone from Oceania. And if you're married to someone from Oceania region, from Australia or New Zealand and so on, then you can significantly increase the chance of your selection by choosing to charge to your spouse's country of birth. Okay, so if you were doing that, and as I mentioned, you can do that simply, even though your own country is eligible. Let's say you want to improve your chance of selection. If this is true, then you can say no. I'm going to say no here. I'm not claiming eligibility based on the country where I was born, and I can therefore choose a different country, and I'm going to say my spouse was born in Australia. Now again, I have to be able to prove that, and I have to be legally married. I can't just make this stuff up. I have to actually, I have to be telling the truth. It's essential I'm telling the truth all the way through this process, okay? All right, so I'm going to say I'm charging to my spouse's country of birth, okay? And I'll tab out of that. All right, go to the next question. I've got to upload a photo. So for the photo, I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to use, I think I'll use this photo. Okay, that's going to be my photo. So I have chosen my photo. My photo meets the requirements. It's 600 pixels by 600 pixels. And let me just show you, verification of that. If I right-click on this and have a look at properties, then I can see, where is my properties? I can see the size is 184 KB. That's good. It's less than the 240 KB, which is the limit. And I can see here it's 600 by 600 pixels at 300 dpi, and that is exactly what you need to see as a minimum minimum dimensions in terms of the number of pixels. Okay, it can be up to 1200 by 1200 pixels, but that's a photo that meets the requirements. Okay, now I'm going to put an address. Let's see, I'm going to say address line 1, let's say number 1 New Street, and let's say address line 2, that's optional, so I'm going to leave that. Let's say Livermore, and province, district, county, so it's Alameda. I'm going to say I'm living in America. It doesn't matter, by the way, that where I'm applying from. It purely matters about my country of birth, right? So the fact that I'm living in America at the time of entering this makes absolutely no difference. So it doesn't change my chances of selection or anything else. Okay, so postcode, they've got, I'm a bit, okay, so I should probably put California here. I was surprised that they didn't have state, but actually it's all there, and state is more powerful than county, right? These are kind of in ascending order, so I'm going to put California there. Okay, so that's my address information, nice and easy. Country where I live today, I live in America today. Nothing complicated about these questions, right? These are very, very simple questions. Phone number, that's optional, so I won't put it in there. My email address. I ignore all emails that are sent to my address, so don't think you can email me and get help. That's not the way to get help. If you need help from me, you post a question at BritSimonSays.com. Okay, now what's the highest level of education you have achieved as of today? People get very, very stressed out over this question for some reason. It's entirely unnecessary to be stressed out about this question. Whatever you answer here, even if you say primary school only, right? Whatever you answer to this question makes absolutely no difference to your chances of selection. This question is collecting demographic information only. It's just demographics. So you don't have to choose a value here that you believe will be getting you picked, right? So don't, for example, choose master's degree if you don't have a master's degree. Don't choose university degree if you don't have a university degree. Don't lie in this question, but don't stress about it. Okay, so primary school only, that would be pretty unusual. High school no degree, or high school degree. These two are pretty much interchangeable. In some school systems they award a degree for high school, in some systems they don't. Pick whichever is true for you. Vocational school. Vocational school tends to be education towards a particular job, profession, or vocation. Generally speaking, you would not pick this because vocational school education is not actually useful in the DV lottery process. Some university courses. This means that you started university, but you either haven't finished it yet, or you started and you left university, but you didn't actually graduate from the university. You didn't get a degree. Okay, that's what that means. University degree is a bachelor's degree. Sometimes an associate's degree level would be acceptable. So you could happily answer university degree. Graduate level courses, master's degrees, these are for higher education. So some graduate level, meaning some education on the path towards a master's degree, or you achieved a master's degree, or you have a doctorate degree like a PhD, or you have some education on the path towards a doctorate degree. Okay, so choose your level. Doesn't really matter what you choose. This isn't going to result in disqualification, but choose the level that you feel most matches your particular situation. Okay, then this is a big one. This is just like making a mistake, I should probably have mentioned when we were talking about these countries where you were born, if you get these questions wrong, you are likely to be disqualified. Okay? So for goodness sake, don't get these questions wrong. Always choose the country of birth correctly and only answer no in country of eligibility if you need to do that and if you understand what you're doing. If you don't understand what you're doing, then stop right there. Don't enter the lottery today and ask me a question on BritSimonSays.com. Okay? Because if you get the combination of these questions wrong, you're going to be disqualified later on. Okay? Similarly, your marital status is another question, and the number of children is another question. These three questions, the place of birth or chargeability, the marital status, and the number of children, those are the most critical, most important questions that you can answer on this form. Because if you get these wrong, you will be disqualified. If you say you are unmarried when you're actually married, you will be disqualified. If you say legally separated and you're separated but you don't have the legal paperwork to prove that, you will be disqualified. If you say you're divorced or widowed and you don't have the paperwork to prove that you are divorced or widowed, you will be disqualified, right? Yeah, I hope you're hearing the tone of voice that makes it clear that you will be disqualified if you make a mistake on this. So again, if you don't understand what you're doing, please stop and ask me a question on BritSimonSays.com. Okay? I'm going to say that I am married and my spouse is not a US citizen or lawful permanent resident, right? And remember, in my example, I'm saying that my spouse is Australian. So I'm going to get to that in a few moments, right? So, married and my spouse is not a US citizen or lawful permanent resident, and I'm going to say I've got one child. Okay? All right, so because I've said married and because I've chosen one child, I'm expecting the form to then prompt me for more details, the derivative details. So my spouse's name, I'm going to say she is also got my same name, and I'm going to say her name is Anne. Okay? And she also has no middle name. She was born on, let's say, 11 being November, 05, so the 5th of November. So exactly, let's say she's exactly 40, so 1984. 1984, she's going to be, she's going to be 40 exactly. When the program entry period ends this year. She's female. She was born in Sydney, Australia. I'm making this up, of course. And the spouse's photo, I'm going to choose this nice AI created photo, right? Which again, the properties of that exactly match the requirements, right? So again, just as I showed you earlier, I can show you that my properties, the file size is a good file size. It's worth checking this. 600 by 600 pixels. Yep, I'm in good shape, right? Okay, then the child family name. So this is the kid. This is Mini Simon. Actually, it's going to be Mini Me, I think. So let's say Mini Me. And no middle name. And this child was born, let's say, and this child has to be under 21 and unmarried, right? So let's say this child was also born on the 5th of November, coincidentally, on the birthday. And this was 2008, okay? Which means the child is about 16 years old. Let's say this child is male. We'll say this child is born in London, United Kingdom. Whoops. By the way, when you choose the birth city for the children and for the derivative, it doesn't matter if those are different to your own country, or if those countries are not eligible. the child will be charged to your country of eligibility. And your country of eligibility, with the way I've done this form, is Australia to my spouse's country of birth. Okay? All right. Child photograph. Let's just add a photo, and we'll say this one. This is a very old-looking 16-year-old. And I know that one also matches the requirements, right? So now I've added all the information. I can review this information. Okay, all looks good. So I can review all of that. Everything looks good. What I could do, if I wanted to, is I could take a screenshot of that, because I can promise you that I have so many people every year, so many people who want to know how they can get their information back from their original DV entry. And the answer is you can never do that. You can never review your original DV entry. It doesn't matter what purpose you have, you cannot get it. So at this moment, exactly when you're sitting here, you could save this, right? You could save this page, which I think you would do. I don't know where you would do that. You just do a save, and let's see, save as. Yeah, so you could right-click and do a save, and save this whole page, or take pictures of it with your phone if you want. Just scroll down, take a picture, right? If you need to go back, you can use these buttons at the top, but otherwise, review all of that. You're happy with your derivatives and everything else. You haven't left any derivative off. You're all good, and you can go ahead and submit that. Now, this is really important next bit. This information here is going to be something that you will lose. Okay? And you have a moment to save this. Again, take a screenshot, save the page. But ideally, even copy the information like this, like I'm doing right now. Copy that doing Control-C, right? Or however you copy on your system, and at least copy that information. Then email that information to yourself, right? And so you'll then have your confirmation number, which you can see here, your date of birth, etc., the year of birth, and the name exactly as you typed it. You can see that it has my last name, comma, first name. Okay? So that's my entry to the DV lottery for DV 2026. You can do the same thing. It's just as easy as that. It's really not complicated. And I've been explaining things to you, and the whole thing has taken me about 20 minutes. Okay? And I've been going slow in order to explain things to you. So this doesn't take long. It is not worth paying someone to do for you. If you pay someone to do it for you, it means you've given them your details, and they then have access to your winning entry once you're selected. And lo and behold, you will find that a lot of those people will then blackmail you for money in one way or another. And so don't do that. Just do this for yourself. Okay, everybody, I'm hoping that was useful. And with a bit of luck, you can do this entry yourself. And with a bit of luck, a lot of luck, you will be a winner. And the entry, by the way, will be checkable from May 3rd, 2025. That's when you'll be able to check the results. Okay? All right, everybody. Thanks for listening on.